Thanks for stopping by. I did not know that classic TV edition. Please like and subscribe.
I'll think about it.
That's all I ask.
Do you love classic TV and cartoons? Check out the other videos on my channel where we cover everything from The Andy Griffith Show to Batman to Quisp and Quake and many more. Let's talk about perhaps the most ridiculous superhero of them all, Super Chicken. For me, he was right up there with Diaper Man as one of the silliest, and I remember enjoying him and the theme song for this show. Like Diaper Man, they took the most unlikely candidate you could think of and gave him superpowers. Who can forget that cry in the sky? As I researched this classic cartoon, one thing that surprised me was the original voice of Super Chicken was Don Knotts, and Fred the Lion was voiced by Bill Dana. Better known back then as a character he often played named Jose Jimenez.
My name, Jose Jimenez.
They did the pilot episode, but then that was scrapped and it was recast. I couldn't find out why, but I'm wondering if it was a money thing. Anyway, I looked long and hard for that pilot episode with their voices, but I couldn't find it. It may not exist. Super Chicken ran from 1967 to 1969 and shared the same time slot as George of the Jungle and Tom Slick, and only 17 episodes were made. The voice of Super Chicken was eventually done by Bill Scott, who also did cartoon voices of Bullwinkle, Mr. Peabody, Dudley Do-Right, and many more. Like Batman, Super Chicken was in reality the secret identity of a wealthy millionaire playboy. In this case, it was Henry Cabot Henhouse III. When he was needed to fight crime, he would summon his ever-loyal servant named Fred. Fred was a lion who spoke like Ed Wynn and wore a sweater inside out so that the F on the shirt was always backward. Fred would prepare and serve Henry Cabot Henhouse a drink made of his secret sauce. That would transform Henry into Super Chicken.
Ready? I guess not.
Now, Fred, the super sauce.
Do you want to be super for half hour or an hour?
An hour.
Right.
Not bad. That'll give me a 15-minute dividend.
And within seconds, the way below average, mild-mannered Henry Cabot Henhouse III was transformed into a way above average Super Chicken.
Fred was voiced by Paul Frees, who also did many voices for commercials and Disney. Super Chicken was accident and mistake prone, so very often he and Fred were terribly injured while fighting crime. Super Chicken would often say afterward,
You knew the job was dangerous when you took it, Fred.
Yes, I get the point. Yeah!
Super Chicken even had his own version of the Batmobile, and when he sets out on another adventure to fight crime, another tagline he'd shout was,
Do the super goat, Fred.
Gotcha, Wilcock.
Like Super Chicken, back in the 1960s, you had superheroes like Underdog, Roger Ramjet, Captain Nice, Mr. Terrific, who would drink formulas or take pills that gave them superpowers. But that was pretty much ended in the 70s when some felt it promoted drug use. In fact, later episodes of Underdog had the pill segments edited out, despite the fact that Underdog states that he is taking super energy vitamin pill. One of the things I remembered best about Super Chicken was it had a great theme song.
Danger when you're threatened by a stranger, when it looks like you will take a licking. There is someone waiting who will hurry up and rescue you. Just call for Super Chicken.
Super Chicken was produced by Jay Ward, famous for shows like Rocky and Bullwinkle and Fractured Fairy Tales. If you're old enough to remember, he also did those great Quisp and Quake commercials. I love those.
Inside every specially marked package of Quake cereal.
Get my space crab.
Get my Chloe.
I did an episode on Quisp and Quake a few years back, and I'll post the link below. The format of Super Chicken was much like those old cartoons, with lots of funny one-liners, quick banter between the characters, and a whole lot of silliness. Of all the superhero shows, I think this might be the best written. What do you think?
In this never-ending battle against injustice, evil, and high food prices.
Roger Ramjet was a cartoon I'd long heard of but had never seen until fairly recently when I finally got to watch episodes on places like YouTube. And it turns out there was a good reason for that. It never appeared on the Saturday schedules of national networks like CBS, NBC, or ABC. It was a syndicated show and wasn't broadcast nationally. It had to be played on local stations in various time slots or perhaps part of a local children's show. I looked back at the local listings in my area, and as far as I can tell, it has never appeared on the schedule of any of my local TV stations. The cartoon first appeared in 1965 and produced an incredible 156 episodes, each about 5 minutes long, minus the introduction. My initial impression was that it must have been done by Jay Ward, whom we just got done talking about in the previous episode of Super Chicken. But Ward had nothing to do with this cartoon. Roger Ramjet came out the year after Rocky and Bullwinkle had finished its run, and it's obvious the creators of this show were big fans of that cartoon. The writing, the style of cartooning, the puns, and the quick banter between the characters were very similar to Ward's shows. Like Bullwinkle and Super Chicken, there's a lot of humor on two levels, so it could be enjoyed by both adults and kids.
Ramjet, you're in orbit. Is that anywhere near Malibu? You're floating in space. Your capsule has left you. There's no way for you to return to Earth. That's very discouraging, General.
And as Roger's capsule and Roger orbited eternally in outer space, the world reacted with near apathy. In Moscow, they said,
Roger who?
In Berlin, they said,
Roger who?
Ramjet is a space hero who fights evil with his crew of children do-gooders named Yank, Doodle, Dan, and Dee. Ramjet is voiced by Gary Owens, best known for Laugh-In and the voice of Space Ghost. His girlfriend is Lotta Love, but he has a rival for her affection, a handsome test pilot named Lance Crossfire. Didn't take long for me to figure out that he's supposed to sound a lot like actor Burt Lancaster.
Water. I recommend it.
Anybody remember him?
Lance Crossfire, ace test pilot and my principal rival for Lotta's affection.
Truly, Roger, I just dropped by to take Lotta for a fun evening.
Yes, Roger. Lance is going to teach me all about a new sport.
Over my dead space boot he is.
No, silly. Lance is teaching me how to skydive.
Skydive?
Skydive. Care to join us?
Do you have an extra parachute?
No.
Ramjet is given his assignments by General G.I. Brassbottom. He's often fighting a group called Nasty, the National Association of Spies, Traitors, and Yahoos, and run by Ramjet's arch-enemy, Noodles Romanoff.
It was soon apparent that Roger Ramjet was in grave danger, for Noodles Romanoff and the no-good-no-goods were up to no good at all.
Okay, kid, stick it in there.
But fortunately, whenever Ramjet found himself in real trouble, he could always count on the kids from the American Eagles to come to his aid with a proton energy pill.
Come on, gang, let's go! One for all and all for one. The Eagle fly till the job is done. Roger, are you all right?
No, my left foot went to sleep. I can't feel a thing.
Here, take this proton energy pill. It gives you the strength of 20 atom bombs for a period of 20 seconds.
From my research, I learned that the writers and artists for this cartoon all had day jobs, but worked nights and evenings to make this series. Pretty impressive considering I'm sure their budget must have been very small. Years later, it gained greater exposure on the BBC, cable stations, and the Cartoon Network. Well, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. While these two cartoons may not have been as big as some of the other Saturday morning superhero shows we've covered, they were fun little shows that their creators really poured their hearts into, and I think they hold up well even after all these years.